Hi, Grandpa. I've been thinking about something I really want to share with you today. I know how deeply you care about justice, truth, and the people you've served throughout your life. So today I want to talk about something happening here in America that affects many Asian American students, including the children and grandchildren of people you worked with during your time overseas. These kids are facing a kind of discrimination that isn't always obvious at first glance. You know, there's kind of stereotype called the model minority myth. Yeah, it can be traced back to the civil rights movement. You have really good memory. Good for you. Yeah, so you probably remember how some politicians at that time began to point to Asian Americans as a successful minority. They did this to basically say, look, if Asian Americans can make it through hard work, everyone else can too. And if you cannot make it, it is your own problem. It was their way of dismissing the real struggles that Black Americans and other minority groups face at that time. It wasn't fair then, and it still causes harm today. This myth paints all Asian kids as naturally gifted at school, especially in math and science, and it suggests that Asian students don't need extra help. I know it sounds like a compliment at first, but in reality, it puts heavy burden on these kids. They feel pressure to always be perfect, and the teacher always assumes they are doing good even when they are struggling. I know you always believe in lifting others up, just like Jesus Christ did. But when school just assume all Asian kids are doing good, they don't offer them the same support or resources that other students might get. That's not just unfair, it goes against Jesus' will. You spent decades in Japan and you've been to Korea too, so you must know that Asian cultures are not all the same. They have different food, they have different traditions, and they speak different languages. But here in the US, most people don't see that diversity. For example, some Asian communities like Hmong and Lao American families, they came here as refugees. So many of them experienced war, poverty, and trauma. But schools still assume students from this family are doing fine because they are Asian. And that's what makes it especially sad, because these students are falling through the cracks because the system thinks it's treating them equally, while it's actually ignoring their unique needs. In Bible, Micah chapter 6, verses 8 says, "What does the Lord require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God?" Can you explain that to me, Grandpa? Thank you, Grandpa. I've always loved that verse. Justice isn't just about punishing the wrong. It's about lifting up those who are forgotten. And mercy means seeing the burdens that people carry, even the ones they don't talk about. So many Asian American students today carry the burden of expectations to be perfect, to never ask for help, and to succeed at everything. But there's no mercy in our education system to help them. During your lifetime, especially through the 40s and the 50s, you lived through an America that is deeply divided by race. You saw how segregation shaped people's daily life and how opportunities were influenced not just by hard work, but by the color of someone's skin. I know many folks believe racism is only in the past, but they are wrong. It just looks different now. It's hiding behind polite words and unfair acceptations. As we all waiting in faith for the rapture, I believe one of the most faithful things we can do is to stand with those who are forgotten, ignored, and marginalized. I believe that what Jesus wants us to do, because that's the right thing to do. Grandpa, you've been such a legacy of service, faith, and reaching across culture to share God's love. So this issue of discrimination against Asian American students matters to you because it goes against everything you stood for. I want to share this with you, not as politics or complaining, but just because it matters. It matters to me, it matters to you, and it matters to everyone who faithfully believes in justice, love, and the God.